Right. This is my evidence.
Right. This is my evidence. Right.
Mind control demons headed. I wasn't particularly looking for anything. Date 6 of the 2nd, 2023. Wow. I've always been put in this NK Ultra trauma-based mind control program since a child. Hereditary through my late mum. They had to work on my whole family members. There is a connection with Freemasonry into the Mormon church. So I've got evidence of pictures how my mum was orchestrated. She was trapped and misled into being a member in the early 60s. So as a young kid growing up into it, I didn't know no different until years later when I got out of it all, that there's satanic connections worldwide is very much rooted in the occult and Satanism. So I was put in this program, and I know this now, by my ex-army brother, British Army brother, former army in the early 80s, officially, and with a backing support by my half-brother, Doug, who trained in holistic programming in London years ago. Yet they're no saints at all. But they're all the same NK Ultra'd themselves as kids, because of what my mum went through by her grandfather. So it is hereditary, and it goes very, very far back to those declassified documents of the in America, what they exposed, what they did in the 40s in the German war, World War II, experimenting on the minds of the prisoners. So those scientists went over to America, and they never stopped the program. So it's more sophisticated than ever. So how did it lead to me being in this setup with a serial killer? So how did they release him in London on the 13th of December 2002 for him to come up and try to murder me? So that monster and his demonic eyes, it's true when they say the souls are possessed by these non-human entities. I have living proof of this. But I didn't know all this, of course, at the time. And how do I know about I've learnt a lot over the years. I'm still here, obviously, and the tale kind of thing. So I was only looking for a document, and it linked all the dots. I just suddenly realised. So Citizens Advice Bureau is a limited company, and there's every town and city has an office based, and they they pay a fee to a national company to be credited as official in their eyes a business Citizens Advice, and I got set up with them in March. I got the documents confirming it 2019. And then just after that, this guy called Dean, was set me up deliberately. So I'm in their system, in the computer systems, for to reopen a case that was dormant for over 6 years in an offer for criminal injuries compensation. Criminal injuries compensation in England is where they meant to offer compensation for victims of crime. Well, I didn't know years ago what I know now, of course. And I was used as a key witness in the Old Bailey in London. The only witness they had, the Crown had. And because the serial killer who killed 3 women weren't admitting to the murders. And what he did to me is how he killed the woman in London. So, how did he come up to me? I won't go into all that. But everyone's been making over the years, you know, videos, documentaries, but they don't know the truth. Because I'm the only one that knows. First-hand witness. So I got used by the Metropolitan Police, which I found on Targeted Justice, a website, drop-down menu, and the fusion centres they call it, but in London, the key defence individual, who's now is in charge of all this other stuff, he was a job position in Metropolitan Police in murder, well, not in the murder squad, but within the homicide division, as I was interacting with them, being a key witness for him. But I always wondered why they never charged him for what he did to me. They never wanted to. So they wanted all the national media to track me down and to let it out in the Old Bailey that I'm the only living survivor. So I have all the national TV, radio, press media after me and ruin my life and lie about my life, basically. And it affected my daughter, affected my son. So that destroyed my relationship with my daughter at the time. And my son was open-minded, it was okay. And yeah, so I was just torn apart. I tried to fight back because I got invited on TV and radio, you know, but it wasn't on that subject. It's just my way of coping. But the lifestyle I had at the time, the people I met were very much involved in all sorts of things. I could name and shame a lot of these well-known people that I used to mix with, but I don't do that. I never was raised like that. But I know why my old house got smashed up. I know why now. Why my kids were treated the way they were. Why I was treated the way I was. Anything I come interacted with in public funded companies, which I know now much more about. And they were never going to repair even my old house. That was a bathroom, funny enough, with the asbestos on the floor underneath the bath, a massive hole. Thinking the whole bath might fall through the whole bloody building. Yeah. So sadly, it's my whole family. It wasn't really my mum's fault. I mean, she really just was very much controlled, mind controlled with the drugs they put her on. Because her trauma was so horrific, which I only found out years later on. And yeah, and she was abandoned by her mum. But she did her best through her own way of doing things with her gran, my gran. So I've got loads of photos of evidence of all this. But because I wasn't going to stay in this Mormon church, I got out of it as soon as I could. Because I just felt it wasn't for me. And I had saw real life at the time. So of course it was a no-no, wasn't it, for them? They couldn't control myself, my mind. They hoped. But you see, it's ironic because I have brothers and sisters who, all these years, had always shunned me away. Every Christmas, holidays, families, Easters, everything always cut out. The only one that I was close with was my natural sister, but she is so heavy mind controlled. It's the trauma that she also went through as a kid. I was the only one out of my whole family that tried to raise the alarm what was going on. But all the rest of them didn't want nobody to know because they thought we'll be split up, put into care. But I've got photographs of it wasn't that my mum did anything to us at all. It was the people that she met in this Mormon church. And when I tried to sue in the 90s for what they did to me, and he was involved, and they covered it all up and blamed me for it all. And that's when my elder brother tried to manipulate my daughter and turned her against me. It took me a long time to try and fight the system. That's where it all began. The public funded companies in England, in that regard, and the court system. Yeah, so all that trauma of being split up from my daughter, so to rebuild a life for me and my son as well. My daughter has been manipulated in every regard by the Freemasons connected into Mormonism. And when she got out from it all and she admitted herself they were doing all that to her in 2014, and she had her own kids started having her own kids then and met somebody and married, and we built up a proper relationships and adults by 2018. Well, just before that, actually. I can go back when she first got married. But you see, my elder brother tried to be the head on the wedding table at her wedding, and he tried to muscle his way in. And I wasn't having that. I'm the mother of the bride. So I made it quite clear because of doing that. That pissed him off more. I loved it. And it showed my son that I ain't going to have that. And my son was with his first partner. And she ended up being a honey pot and doing a dirty on him. And he had his first child by him. I took her in my old house with my son before they moved away to London. As soon as they moved away, she did a dirty on him. But he built up contacts and business by then, and he got on the step ladder. He moved to my daughter's, who had her own place by then. And it wasn't for my daughter. I don't know what my son would have done. He didn't want to move back up this way. I don't blame him. So I only wish the best for both of them and their own children now. And well, they're older now, some of them. But I don't see none of my grandkids. I don't see my son or daughter at all. This is what the program does. So I know they got on to my son at the end of 2021 after I helped him through his rough time as well. Through his second marriage that broke, that honey pot there. And they made sure whatever they did, they got on the head again of my daughter, adult daughter, so they don't have anything to do with her. It's not by choice. I know just for her safety, both safety, and my own family. It's best that they don't know this program, and I hope they never find out how the brains of humanity is being manipulated by the dark occultists. And how the Mormons are part of the G-Wave supercomputers held in the reference to brain interface over in Utah, the land, a lot of the land, holding these trillion bytes data centers with everybody's data on it. It's all to do with the hive mind. Wow. So the dots connected all together in a practical sense. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. hacking. So basically, in a nutshell, I have found evidence. Hacking. We hit hacking internet. So the documents I found confirms this. I'm going to go into this website and share this. The mind control, it is hereditary. This genetic side. There's good information on the website and how all this how not just me but other people like me. It goes into the genetics, the DNA, the trauma-based mind control, the Freemasonry, and I'm going to play in the background at the late, what it's called now, but let me go into the mind control section. There's all interlinked. It is all interlinked, all this. Here we go. So the ultimate, as I said, not just me, there's a lot of people out there in the world. The Monarch program, Butterfly, Project Paperclip. So I'm going to screen share this as I play some scriptures in the background, because it's all relevant to the truth and how they set me up, always happy. And then they went on to my grown-up kids, and well, they did it to my mum first, brothers and sisters. So the Satanist is real. Dr. Joseph Mengele from Germany, the trauma base, and when it went over to America, it never stopped. So it's a, you know, the World War II, the operation designed for the paperclip, designed Operation Paperclip, and the US underground military facilities, yeah, which generally keeping kids in cages, strapped from floor to ceiling, and training their kids. I mean, this is all the mind control. I don't believe all this went on and still goes on. It's more sophisticated now with electronic mind control, cell towers, electronic warfare, EMF, much more. So educateyourself.org has got some really good researchers. The implants began in 1952. So I do wonder there is some good links about protection as well. Spiritual protection, practical as well. But you need to be aware how they use the Freemasonry, the Masonic lodges, especially get the history of all this goes back to biblical terminology. So, you know, something worth looking into. I'm just going to see if I can find a video. James Bartley, my love. One video after is the one to do with, I think it's a different save playlist I've got. To see if I've got it. Book of Enoch in the End Days is really good. Just go finish up what I'm doing. the control system, the nephew. Bill Cooper knew a lot, didn't he? Let's play about Mormons and Freemasonry. No, it's a bit more detailed than that. Some people. They intercept during communication, basically, is what I mean by hacking. It doesn't matter if I've got the Wi-Fi on or not, because the frequencies are so strong. I don't want that. Let me see if I've saved it. 9 o'clock. There's two. I'm gonna play Ted Gutston, the mic. I think it's all.
Mike of the MPM moved to the scene at 4:30 in the morning. He saw this girl, thought we had a customer, made a confession from October 25, 1980. The girl's name was Elena Stokely. Elena told me Dr. McDonald was not good this year. Are you aware of the story Fatal Vision? Movie book, best-selling book. Mike of the MPM moved to the scene at 4:30 in the morning.
Who are the controllers?
So this comes from, as I said, Zeus Revelations, and here's the website. It's only been up since 2 months or so, so please catch it, save it however you can. This is very, very important information. All right, so let's get to Barack Obama, the Joker sacrifice. Barack Obama is a Freemasonic member of the Royal Order of Jesters, which was founded by Barack Obama from. The Order of Jesters is a minor order that specializes in mental terrorism. Fully initiated members of the secret societies are involved in human sacrifice and even the consumption of human blood and flesh. Barack Obama sacrificed a woman named Mariah Carey. Using electronic weaponry and witchcraft. Mariah Carey was reported claiming that Obama was communicating with her. She drove to Connecticut to Washington, D.C., where she was shot and killed by police. Most victims of this electronic are considered schizophrenic, however, they are not. I suggest you look at my video, including show notes titled Touchless Torture, to get into this more. So she was targeted, carrying out by secret society. It was Barack Obama's attack that caused her death. The police that shot her were also under electromagnetic mind-altering influences directed by Freemasons. Untimely deaths or sacrifices carried out by secret societies using witchcraft and electronic weaponry. The entire electronic grid has been designed to enable electronic targeting, which is carried out by members of secret societies trained in hacking. They use smartphone apps and dark web to coordinate hacking electronics. Emitting electromagnetic frequencies. All right, the Bush crime family. The Bush family were German nobility that descended from the Bush family. The Bush family ruled as feudal lords in the regions of Ravensburg and Osnabrück, located in Westphalia. The House of Bush had several family branches. German for Bush is Bush. In their region of Osnabrück, it was governed by the Catholic prince bishops who were given the authority by the Pope of Rome. The movement of protesting against Roman papal authority rose up in Osnabrück, so they brought in the Jesuits to combat these protesters of Rome. The University of Osnabrück University for a period of time. Jeb Bush is a Roman Catholic convert and fourth-degree Knight of Columbus. Adolphus Bush was an ancestor of the Bush family of Westphalia and co-founder of the Anheuser-Busch Beer Company. The Bush family are also intermarried with German Dutch royalty like that of the House of Wind. Now, Barbara Bush, the daughter of the Beast, Aleister Crowley. The Pierce name from Barbara Bush comes from the Percy family for British Northumberland. Bush family are basically the royal family of the United States working as princes under the authority of the House of Windsor, which have German ancestry. George Walker is a knight of the House of Windsor's Order of the Bath. King Edward VIII of the House of Windsor was a Nazi supporter. Axel von Don Bush was a Nazi soldier who planned to assassinate another one of the many lies by this wicked family, similar to the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. The German royal and noble family separated Hitler and the Nazi movement. The Windsor family changed the name under King George V, who was from the House of Gluck and the House of Saxe. Both these families were involved with the Nazis. Prescott Bush's Union Bank Corporation, that was the father of George Bush's, was holding gold for Nazis, was shut down under the quote Trading with the Enemy Act. Vannevar Bush, his father, oversaw the Manhattan Project as the head of the Office of Scientific Research and Development. Prescott Bush, George Walker Bush, and George Bush were all initiated in the Skeleton Secret Society. The Nazi SS, the secret society, used the Skeleton Secret Society as a military council, which is why George Bush Sr. started the Gulf War and George Bush Jr. started the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Big soldiers and paramilitary death squads, which are used inside the United States for persecution and assassination. Bush family are in this society. British Crown agents. Yale and Harvard, along with several other prestigious universities, are owned by the British Crown. The Crown colonies were companies owned by the British monarchs and other royal families that do business inside the City of London Corporation. The British royal family uses these universities to recruit their Crown agents, who then serve their interests by infiltrating corporate and government agencies. Many high-level members in the U.S. military intelligence come from Yale, Brown, and Harvard. The British Crown also uses Crown Knights as agents who pledge their allegiance to the House of Windsor and return grounded power and wealth. U.S. President George Walker Bush was knighted under the Order of the Bath. Former U.S. Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Henry Kissinger is a Knight of the British Empire. Henry Kissinger is a major developer of their population agenda. A report on slowing population growth. Former chairman of the Federal Reserve, Alan Greenspan, is a Knight of the British Empire. The wealthiest man on the planet, Bill Gates, is a Knight of the British Empire, worth about $89 billion. Gates also openly promotes depopulation, uses his wealth to impose deadly vaccinations around the world. Also, the engineer. Rudy Giuliani is a Knight of the British Empire. He's also former mayor of New York, along with Michael Bloomberg, who is a knight of the British Empire and worth about $50 billion. General Wesley Clark is a knight of the British Empire. Steven Spielberg is a knight of the British Empire and worth about $3.7 billion. Ronald Reagan was a knight of the British Empire. Shimon Peres, the former president prime minister of Israel, was a knight of the Order of St. Michael and St. George. Knights and court factors serve royal courts. Buckingham Palace is a royal court. Organized trust. Clintons and the Obamas are working for the Chicago Mafia, which are aligned with Hillary Clinton is from Chicago, and Barack Obama is a professor at the University of Chicago Law School, as well as a senator for Illinois. Barack Obama's Project Gunrunner was about arming the Mexican cartels and a continuation of George W. Bush's programs. Project Gunrunner was openly criticized because it ended up providing guns for organizing crime in Mexico, and these guns were used for to murder public officials and Mexican citizens. Just a side note, I put in Jew and Obama Chief of Staff Rahm Emanuel is the mayor of Chicago now. The Bush family, who own property in Texas near the border, also work with the Mexican cartels and use their power and wealth to influence the government in Texas. Donald Trump is a friend of 5 families in New York, and they want all because they do not like drug cartels cutting into their territory. Donald Trump used the Genovese and Gambino-owned SNA Concrete for building his condos in Manhattan. Donald Trump businessmen. The mafia are the ones doing the human trafficking and trolling most of the politicians through blackmail. The U.S. military and intelligence agencies have been running their opium fields in Afghanistan and shipping a portion back in the United States, and then handing it to the 5 families, which then cut it into heroin and have sold it in the streets. That's why we have a heroin epidemic in the United States. The Italian mafia uses the Albion mafia and street gangs for doing most of their dirty work. Prince Mario Shighi Albani del Rovere and his son Prince Flavio Shighi Albani Rovere own and control the Albanian mafia. Atlantic City has been fully controlled by the Atlanta Mafia since the Atlantic City Conference in 1929. Donald Trump was the front man for the 5 families in New York. They're controlled by Italian nobility. Donald Trump's ex-wife, Ivana Trump, even dated Prince Raffaello Gattiani de Aragona. Member of the Gattani crime family include the vineyard owner and wizard of wine, Gelasio Gattani de Argano Lavatelli. Donald, I won't get into the rest of these names, but they've been hiding out in Venice after faking their death, and maybe in Switzerland today. Next copy is MS-13 is their street soldiers, and they are ruthless. King Juan Carlos of Spain spent Thanksgiving at the Bush Ranch several years ago as a cover for business dealings and organized crime. The Italian nobility that have Spanish ties, like the Colonna, Ruspoli, and Massimo families, have some ownership over the Chicago faction. Prince Dado Ruspoli was even an actor in the movie The Godfather 3, and he had Brazilian ancestry. The Italian mafia also controlled the drug cartels in South America. The Jewish mafia works closely with the Italian mafia, and most of the Jewish factions are controlled by the Colonna and Orsini families of Rome. The House of Hoops. The current plot is causing a second civil war in the United States. They are presently paying Freemasons and other groups to instigate division between Republicans and Democrats. The Democrats They may stage or set up violent conflict between the political groups. Carried out by Freemasons. This occurred in Nevada. Fashion derived from the word fasces and really means centralization of power. This is why they added fasci symbols to U.S. federal buildings and federal seals after the American Civil War. flashy symbol is a bundle of sticks. Axe, a henchman's axe. Bundle of sticks and the axe refers to control under the threat of force or beheading. The House of Bernadotte are trained in starting civil wars to divide and conquer and then burning down society. Former Navy SEAL Ryan Zinke, who is current U.S. Secretary of Interior for Trump, is an agent of the House. The Bernadotte family run a Lutheran church. Ryan Zinke has covert authority over the Navy SEAL Special Forces and commands them to carry out black operations on those marked for persecution. Mentioned the Navy SEALs are involved in using covert electronic and microwave weaponry on the United States civilians. The Rispoli crime family. The Rispoli family is one of the most wicked criminal bloodlines, and they are top owners of the Vatican with princely titles all over Italy and Spain. The Rispoli family has some authority over South American drug cartels as well. John Paul Getty was considered the wealthiest man in America in his time. Prince Leone Rispoli Sforza was a top executive for the Banco Romano and worked at the Italian Bank of the South. He is also the Italian High Commissioner of the Sovereign Military Order of Malta and ambassador for the military order. The Sovereign Military Order of Malta. The Sovereign Military Order of Malta is the oldest knighthood in the world, and its headquarters is in Rome at the Palazzo Malta. The Southern Military Order of Malta is considered a sovereign entity under international law under United Nations. They also have an extraterritoriality within Italy. Many members of the royal families and heads of constitution monarchies are members of the SMOM. What makes the SOM different from all other knighthoods is that it is a sovereign entity. The SOMN is an entity that has higher authority than the Vatican. And members include King Carlos of Spain, Queen Paola of Belgium, Queen Beatrix of Netherlands. You can read the rest here. The Sovereign Council of the Order of Malta is a top military council in the world. The Australian nobility have always been connected with the SOMN. The Italian nobility and Australian nobility are the Knights of Malta that created the fascists and Nazis and orchestrated World War I and World War II. William F. Buckley was a Knight of Malta and conservative political commentator in the U.S. Pat Buchanan is another conservative political commentator and Knight of Malta. J. Peter Grace was an American businessman, politician, and member of the Council for National Polity and Knight of Malta. The Nazi Vice Chancellor Franz von Papen was a Knight of Malta. Dwight D. Eisenhower was the only officially known Knight of Malta that's been President of the United States. The Knight of Malta, Joseph Smith, was Inspector General of the Department of Defense under George W. Bush and was executive under the private military company Blackwater Worldwide, now renamed Academe. Joseph Smith was a professor at Jesuit Georgetown, and worked as a political advisor for Donald Trump during his elections. You can read about all the Knights of Malta list here. Other Knights of Malta include CIA Director James McCone, William Casey, William Colby, who was nicknamed the Warrior Priest. Knight of Malta Alexander Craig was a U.S. Army general, U.S. Secretary of State under Ronald Reagan, and White House Chief of Staff under Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford. Haig was also Jesuit educated at Georgetown. He was the one covertly running the Pentagon and White House during the 70s and 80s. The CIA was founded by William Donovan, who was nicknamed the Father of Central Intelligence, and he was knighted by 2 Vatican orders and likely a Knight of Malta. Jesuit-educated CIA directors include Robert Gates, George Tenet, Liam Panetta, Michael Morrell, David Petraeus, and John Brennan, and they are overseen by the Order of Malta. The Jewish order was established by the Farnese family under Pope Paul III, or Alessandro Farnese, through the papal bull called Regimini Militis Ecclesiae, military regiment of the church. The Farnese family lived in a pentagonal fortress called the Farnese Villa Caparola. Vatican Knights and Jesuits, as well as the Knights of Malta, are deeply involved with U.S. military intelligence. The House of Colonna hold the continual position of Prince Assistants. claimed to be Julio-Claudian dynasty of ancient Rome, and Peter Columna and the Counts of Tusculum. The Colonna family used the column on their coat of arms, which is a symbol for political power. The Colonna name derives from the Greek word Colonna, which means column. The Columbus and Colombo names also derive from Columna, and from Peter de Columna. Christopher Columbus was a relative of the Colonna family, and he claimed America for Rome. Christopher Columbus was born in Genoa and was funded by the Doria banking family, who were intermarried with the House of Colonna. The Colonnas control the Colombo crime family and several Jewish mafia factions, which also run Hollywood and Columbia Pictures. The House of Colonna controlled the Knights of Columbus, which used the Roman fascist symbol for its logo. And here you see in the Capitol House, Congressional House, the fascists are on each side. Right in our faces, folks. There are many police officers and federal agents that are members of the Knights of Columbus. The Colonna family have influence over police and organized crime. The five families are covert enterprises for the Italian nobility, and they use their mafia to blackmail politicians. And here you see the Freemason symbols on many police badges, folks. Jerry Colonna is a financier from New York City who helped establish Silicon Valley. Jerry Colonna, who is believed to be worth over $50 million, started a small investment firm called Flatiron Partners, which was in the business of making billions for companies like J.P. Morgan. Their interest. Jerry Colonna is protected by organized crime, which attacked me whenever I mention him. The Colonna family ceremony rule over Capitoline Hill, which represents political power of Rome's corporate empire. The column symbolizes the political support that maintains their claim to governmental land ownership. Washington, D.C. is a Roman architecture and has Roman fascist symbols all over U.S. federal buildings and seals. Fascism means central to power. Capitol Hill is named after the Capitoline Hill in Rome. Washington, D.C. was called Rome in 1669. Members of the Colonna family include Prince Odin Colonna. You can read the rest there. Above is an image of the National Capitol columns in Washington, D.C. The column is a symbol used on government buildings and represents political power. Mitt Romney is a powerful politician in the United States. The meaning of the name Romney is Roman and derives from Romulus. There is a family of British peers with the name Romney, and they too have Roman ancestry. Mitt Romney is like the modern-day Romulus, who was the founder of the Kingdom of Rome and an ancestor. The Colonna family descend from the kings of Alba and claim to be ancestors of the Julio-Claudian family. Mitt Romney is a powerful leader in the Mormon Church. Freemasons from New York, like Joseph Smith, founded the Mormon Church.
Here you go.
Both Freemasonry and Mormonism use the beehive as a common symbol. The Colonna family merged with the Barberini family, and they have bees on their coats of arms. The beehive stayed in front of the Utah Capitol. The beehive stayed in front of the Utah Capitol building, which incorporate columns into its architecture. The Mormons settled into Utah and have a major influence in politics. Barberini family uses bees on their coat of arms. Prince Urbani, Riaros, Sofarza, Barberini, Colonna, de Sciarra represents the Barberini family, who today, which produced one pope and several cardinals for the Roman Catholic Church. Freemasons use honey as an allegory for energy, which they steal from politics. Honey is the greatest preservative and the longest lasting of foods. The Tolonia banking family. The House of Tolonia are the top bankers in society and the Vatican treasurers. The Geneva flag uses a papal key on it. The UBS Bank uses papal keys for its logo. Switzerland and the Vatican City State are the only two nations on the planet that use the square flag. Switzerland is basically a papal state. UniCredit is a popular bank in Europe and its headquarters in Rome. The House of Tolonia is also intermarried with the Javel banking family of France and the royal family of Luxembourg. The Borghese family have a dragon on their coat of arms and live in Rome. Drago, similar to Draghi, is the Italian word for dragon. Mario Draghi was born in Rome and was a Jesuit educated from the Massimiliano Massimo Institute. He is one of the most powerful bankers in the Society of the President of the European Central Bank. These banking families are funded and managing secret societies in the United States who serve Rome. the Nazi Bank for International Settlements. The Bank for International Settlements, or BIS, is connected to most of the world's central banks and siphoning off wealth. The BIS was established by London bankers and Nazi businessmen like Baron Montague Norman, the former governor of the Bank of England. The BIS is involved in making international bank transfers and is through discrete tax contracts like the Belgian chefs in the United States is how they steal money from nations. The Italian nobility and the European monarchs claim to have shares in the corporate governments and are the ones taking off wealth from the nations. They use this money to pay their foreign agents and their secret society. In this, like the actor Don Johnson, who's caught with $8 billion in transactions at the Swiss-German border. Banking in Switzerland is private, and they're concealing billions in private accounts. The Swiss Guard protects the Vatican today. The Rothschilds are the bankers to the Vatican. The House of Savoy ruled over Geneva for centuries for the Vatican and Prince Vittorio Emanuele IV of Savoy. The Vatican and Switzerland are the only two nations on the planet, as I said, that use a square flag. DARPA and the Department of Defense along Silicon Valley developed an artificial singularity through HAARP, satellites, electronics, and chemtrails. HAARP, modern electronics, and wireless frequencies are generating geometrically designed programs into society. The chemtrails are made of nanoconductive particles that create electromagnetic buzz in the air. Artificial singularity. These frequencies are hacking into the nerve systems and electrical systems of human biology and can manipulate chemicals, pain, arousal, as well as psychological states. The Church of Scientology is also working with Silicon Valley, which has developed weaponized electronics disguised as computers, smartphones, wireless frequencies, and other systems. Sorcery is the unnatural manipulation of unseen forces like sounds, chemical reactions, and vibrational geometries, with the intent of manipulating body chemistry, thoughts, and physiology. The Kabbalah and Hermeticism are common forms of witchcraft practiced by these secret societies. Natalie Portman, the actress, is the most torturous Kabbalist on the planet. I am serious. The Church of Scientology, Kabbalah Center, and Silicon Valley have worked together to develop electronic weapons based on witchcraft. The Church of Scientology considers itself a Gnostic organization. Modern Gnosticism has become which has a focus on alchemy and the manipulation of body chemicals. Kabbalah is similar, but more about the manipulation of the mind and physiology through geometric sounds and vibration. The Church of Scientology is involved with training members to use electronics with witchcraft. They are using electronics and wireless frequencies to torture people. Anonymous and other hacker groups are also involved with this covert operation. Excuse me. Silicon Valley is partly overseen by Santa Clara University, which is a Jesuit college, and California's Jesuit provincial, who is Jesuit Michael F. Weiler. The Jesuits are deeply involved with the U.S. military and intelligence agencies. Santa Clara Leah Panetta, Dave Drummond, Senior Vice President of Corporate Development at Google, Brendan Ike, and co-founder of Mozilla and JavaScript, Jack Kuhler, a former top executive and electronic engineer for IBM, and former Secretary of Homeland Security, Janet Napolitano, Peter Oppenheimer, Senior Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of Apple. Santa Clara has courses in various science, engineering, and psychological counseling. Also, the governor of California, Jerry Brown, he was a Jesuit priest. The mayor of San Francisco, former Gavin Newsom, lieutenant governor, went to Santa Clara University as well. Church of Scientology located in Silicon Valley. Some companies located in Silicon Valley include Sony, Google, Packard, Adobe, EA Systems, and many more. Japanese electronic companies were close. Akihito, the Emperor of Japan, is a Knight of the Order of the Garter and serves the British Crown as the blood-appointed head state in Japan. The British royal family are deeply involved in this criminality and have Crown Knights and Freemasons involved in this military and intelligence, which work alongside the Jesuits and Roman agents. Sky Dayton is a Scientologist and created Earthlink, which is a network and communications company. This is all about domination through the most ruthless measures. Refer to themselves as technocrats. Technocracy is about technological-based governing systems. Many major actors in Hollywood are members of the Church of Scientology, Tom Cruise, John Travolta, Christy Alley. Many in Hollywood are covert members in Hollywood Illuminati. The Hollywood Illuminati leader is George Clooney. Hollywood magic. The term Hollywood derives from the holly tree. The holly tree was used by the Druids who known for being priests and also wizards. The character of Merlin in the Legend of King Arthur was a druid wizard, and he used a wand made of holly wood. Hollywood movies are forms of sorcery using psychology, subliminal messaging, and manifestation through what is called, quote, lesser magic and bewitchment. Today, many actors in Hollywood practice witch and Kabbalah. The Kabbalah Center International is located in Los Angeles, California. Demi Moore, Britney Spears, Ashton Kutcher, Rosie O'Donnell, and Mick Jagger. Most of them can be seen in photographs wearing the, quote, red string bracelet, which represents the red Gevurah, Sephiroth of the Kabbalah tree, which symbolizes fire, wrath, and judgment. This is all related to Mars, despite the cover-up. Mars is known as the god of war in Roman mythology, and the red string Kabbalah cult is covertly promoting a war and Holocaust. Mark Breakspear is a Hollywood special effects designer, and he comes from the English Breakspear family, which produced the only English pope in history, Pope Adrian IV of Nicholas Breakspear, who also conquered Ireland for Rome. Many Hollywood actors and musicians in the entertainment industry are
Well, there's another anti-alt woman in America apparently having a problem. I'm listening to this.
She won't do these things. But she's gotten away with it so many times, and she just, you know, when the heat starts coming down, she just gets in a vehicle and she drives it into a piece of green. You know, so how are you, Lord? I hope you're good. Yeah, pretty much. I don't think she's going to have a choice. It is what it is. Well, they might have been horrible fish in Michigan, but were they telling the truth? That's the thing is that you can't get pissed at somebody telling you the truth. You can't. You just can't. So tell me the truth about something. It is what it is. Yeah, and the problem is that if she has to go all the way back to New York, it's going well. I'll give you an update in just a minute. Not necessarily, Crystal. You have to understand that it's not her first DUI. You know, this is DUI is not something, especially with drug charges, and the fact that she had a 19-year-old kid in the vehicle with her that she almost killed. That's a coach. Hi, Ryan. Okay, so I don't know how long I am going to be on for, because I don't have a ton of information. So I'll give you what I've got anyway. Okay. Apparently, and I did call to check to make sure, but apparently Dana was doing a stream from the Grand Canyon at some point this weekend. Somebody was telling me about it. Hi, CGC, and she did get picked up. Unfortunately, the DUI is really not her issue right now. The federal marshals have a hold on her to pick her up. They wouldn't give me a whole lot of information. I have done a records request as well as a body cam request. It takes a while to get that. So, yeah, I see random. I don't know. Crystal, I don't know. I mean, I believe that somebody had contacted me and said that there were some people in her chat that were telling her, because she was in the car, in the driver's seat, drinking and live streaming, that she needed to watch out because the cops were going to end up getting her. And I guess they did, but hi Sky Zoo, but yeah, William, that's kind of why I'm interested to see the body cam. I know that sounds terrible, but I kind of am. What I ended up doing, because I honestly tried to go and search her in the Coconino County Sheriff's stuff. Hey, Bong Man. I guess so I ended up calling them and asked about charges and whatnot. First, I verified that she was there. She is there. I've got a booking number. That's all I've got. And the lady said, yeah, she is in custody. There's no bond. Absolutely no bond. And she's being held for the federal marshals. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen from there. I have no idea, and I don't know what. I did some research, which was the best I could do, and apparently, if you're a fugitive from another state, the marshals can come get you. Crystal, she ran from New York from a DUI, never even bothered going to court at all. So she skipped out in New York, and she did the same thing in Texas for the domestic violence. She's a fugitive from both of those states. I just don't know yet what state it is that put a hold on them. My thought process is, no, the marshals are no joke at all. My gut is telling me it's probably New York. Because it was a DUI and drug charges in New York, that's what I'm thinking is probably what the issue is. It's probably going to be New York. So, and she may, because New York nabbed her, Texas may go ahead and do the same thing. Yeah, Crystal, that would be wiser. Yeah, there were drug charges from the New York arrest. I used to have clipping from that. I think Beth has it. I'll ask her if she'll send it to me. But yeah, the charges were DUI and drug charges in New York. So, and when she was due to go to court in February of last year, and in the court, she got in a vehicle in Mike's vehicle and took off to Arizona. So, yeah. What was William asking? And maybe I can tell you on drug charges. Yeah, feds. Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, that could be, I suppose. Like I said, I don't know yet. I have no idea yet. So it's, but I can tell you that it's, hi, Mr. Metalskull. It is going to be a while before we're probably going to be, hearing from Dana, unfortunately. You're right, Bubbles. Yeah, sorry, Random. I hate that, but not necessarily, Crystal. You have to understand that's not her first DUI. You know, this is DUI is not something, especially with drug charges, and the fact that she had a 19-year-old kid in the vehicle with her that she almost killed. That's a big deal.
Well, that's an assumption. She wasn't there.
That's exactly why. Yeah, William, they actually will. Once I get
evidence,
the body cam and the report, I will let everybody know. But I mean, I can't disagree with that, Laddie. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Hopefully this will be a wake-up call, I hope. Yeah, protein, I'm not really, I believe marijuana was involved, but I don't know. Yes, I'm sure you probably can, Yessie. The problem is that that poor dog is probably right now scared to death in a pound somewhere. It does, Ryan, you're absolutely right. Well, I'm just hoping maybe she'll get some help, you know? Yeah, once I get the body cam, yes, I will let you guys know, and I will be posting it. Yeah, hi GLM. Yeah, it's if you don't show up to court in New York, that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for her. And what's a bigger problem is this car that she just bought is now going to sit in an income lot for God knows how long. I do not know for sure. I think somebody told me it was duck, something with a duck in it, guys. I don't know exactly. I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah. Right now at all. And you're exactly right, CGC. You're exactly right. You're absolutely right. And she does need some help. And I hope that she does get it. I really, really do. I really do. Because then maybe she will be able to get, well, yeah, I don't know about that fish in Michigan. I really don't know. Because I wasn't watching her lives. So.
Talk
Yeah.
about Diane.
Yeah, I
woman
mean,
in
that's
America.
basically why she left New York, is because she knew she had court coming up. She hired an attorney. She was pissed because the attorney didn't get her completely off. Like what basically happened to her in Illinois. So she took off. And yeah, now she's considered a flight risk. She's not going anywhere for a while. Well, I wouldn't say that we're quote unquote floods. BLM, we came to a peace agreement, you know, so how are you, Lord? I hope you're good.
Well.
I don't think she's gonna have a choice. It is what it is. Well, they might have been horrible fish in Michigan, but were they telling the truth? That's the thing is that you can't get pissed at somebody telling you the truth. You can't. You just can't. Or tell me the truth about something, it is what it is. And the problem is that if she has to go all the way back to New York, it's going well. I'll give you an update in just a minute. If she has to go all the way back up, and she doesn't know anybody in New York, so she's going to be by herself. Hey, Bob, how are you? Which kind of makes me feel a little.
Hi, welcome back.
Yeah, random. You were right there.
The prophecy of the Gentile powers.
I don't think she has any contacts from the FBI, honey. Yeah, there's definitely no bond.
This is a woman that gaslighted her on her website for so long. This woman in America had pulled in viewers and people onto her chat. Sadly, Satanists, and gleamed on the misery of other people. And when you're targeted and traumatized, people will do things to cope. So this woman called Diana Cain, K-I-N, in America, is doing her best to cope with the way she's been treated. And like to this other woman who's been gaslighting her for so long. hungered for her blood. So demonic. The dark side, the personality of her, and pretended to be so. Well, you can hear what she's saying about her.
Definitely a no bond. That was something that I actually asked specifically. I asked specifically.
When somebody's stalking you and gaslighting you, that's what they do. They fish information about someone, which is none of their business. But she's gone out of her way for so long to traumatise the woman called Diana.
And they atlantically told me that there's no bond. So the feds are going to pick her up, unfortunately. I know, that makes me so sad. Maybe. I don't know, maybe. It might not take, like I said, well, I did a little research, and usually if the federal marshals are going to come get you, it's usually within 30 days. But she's going to end up in a different state either way. Rather it's New York that has the federal warrant out for, or Texas, I don't know which, but weird world, that's kind of what I was thinking as well. Yeah, she doesn't have any contacts at the FBI. I know. Yeah, I know. It's sad. But unfortunately, I think, yeah, hi, Sunny. I was told today that Dana was picked up in the Grand Canyon over the weekend. Apparently, she was drinking and streaming or whatever. I don't know, but somehow got picked up. And there is a federal marshal's hold on her. Yeah, everything is gone random. There's a federal marshal hold on her. What state? I have no clue. I don't know if it's New York that is, like, because I have a funny feeling she's going to be gone for a while. She did leave the internet, that's true, but not by choice. Can't see GLM. It's not good, Buff. And, I really need to take, William's exactly right. Just wait and rewind, whatever. I know, I feel sorry for the dog, too. I can't find any information as to who set the marshal hold. Yeah, I couldn't either, Coach. I couldn't either. Each other, please. Yeah, no, she's not that, Andy, thank goodness. If any of you use your phone to interact here like me, I pocket block people. Pocket block? Oh dear, my mind just went all over the place. So yeah. Well, don't people block me?
You could have gotten a lot better way, but like now
Yeah.
She is forced to stop drinking, and maybe if and when they let her go, maybe she can start her life.
That's what I'm hoping for too. Actually, CIA hold, she's going to end up losing her job because it's going to be a while before she's going to be out and among us again. I don't know if it's new.
It's a civil matter, unfortunately. I'm not expert in American statutes and acts. I'm not an expert in anything. But I know it's a civil matter. So if she's done something, she's had a natural herb to smoke. And for whatever reason, she's got a car. And in the system, you're paying the taxes. She had a job and somebody stitched her up by the sounds of it. And this woman, Tammy, just exaggerating. She hasn't got any first-hand knowledge at all. Nobody has, apart from the individual themselves. So creating a stream out of presumptions about someone's personal situation, it's just like Tammy. This woman called Tammy's been stalking her for years online, setting her up and all sorts. Getting a body carriage and image. I don't know how it works in America, but in England, the data protection of the individual is their right to get that information. I don't know how it works in America.
New York or Texas that has the federal warrant on her. I'm not sure which one. My gut tells me.
It's not one. It's on the corporation birth certificate. But unfortunately, a lot of people that learn their God-given rights and you're talking to a jury still get set up.
I don't know. I won't know anything until I can get the information that I requested. So
Yeah.
and she is still a human being. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely
Even if we have people that don't like her, I'm not the biggest fan of her. I will admit that. I still feel that she should get her shit together. And maybe
well,
this
yeah,
will do it.
of course. And GLM, you're not wrong either. And I know that she has, obviously, many times because she's got DUIs, but you know that she has driven while she has been drinking.
Well, do you know that?
We've all seen it. We've all seen it over and over.
And she is, you know, she almost killed herself and a 19-year-old in New York.
How do you know that?
So, I mean, you know, eventually, everything does catch up to you eventually.
How did you know that? Was she there? New York? No. And where's she get information on? Because it's private data. That is Diana's data. Nobody can actually get that. Whether it's, I'm not expert in New York state system, but they can't get that off. What? They're just making it up for a sensational stream, and they never get hacked. They're Satanists, they're evil.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad that it had to go federal
No,
because now she has no choice. She has zero choice to what happens to her now.
exactly. Well, don't apologize for being worried. I'm not going to tell you that I'm not a little worried myself. I'm not sure how well Dana's not real, as we all know, real big on people telling her what to do. And literally in prison, that's all she's going to be doing, is doing what somebody else tells her to do, when they tell her to do it, how they tell her to do it, and what time they tell her to do it. That's
And the
going
thing
to be
is-
bad.
And the thing is, if she keeps on going the way she does on YouTube, she's talking about being the quote unquote the TI. She has the feds, this and this.
TI, see how they're mocking her. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that and the Secret Service. They're going to put her in the lunatic. She's going to.
Yeah, it,
See the terminology they use is senseless.
absolutely.
She's going to be forced to get mental help, and that is exactly what she needs.
So they're expert now in people's private lives, aren't
Coach, I'm with you on that. I will almost bet that they're going to make her go all the way back to New York, and that's going to be bad. That is going to be
they?
bad.
That's an
Even if
assumption.
she can get out of not having to spend a great deal of time in jail or in prison for absconding and you know, taking off and shit. She's gonna have to. The feds are not going to put her on a plane back down to Arizona. That's not how that's done. No. Yeah, she has admitted that she's run from warrants. You're right, And Dana allowed phone devices that allow text and calls and even video chats. Oh, cool. Okay, well, who's that? I'm pretty sure though they won't let her live stream. Dana is in jail, Deb, yes. I will video call her and record it for y'all. Actually, I tried to set up where I could do that, and it's not. It's not allowing any video calls from her right now, Will. Just so you know. Yeah, that's exactly what I was worried about. No. Okay, so the warrants in Texas are because she had in 2016 domestic violence charges for physically attacking her then ex-husband. And they put her on probation, whatever. She was supposed to go, and she wasn't allowed to drink. She wasn't allowed to do any of that. She was supposed to be piss tested once or twice a week or whatever. And she decided not to follow through with what probation was demanding of her, and she took off to, that's when she ended up in Portland. And then Illinois, she got a DUI in Illinois.
This is how stalkers work. They follow you everywhere. I mean, the sense of like your internet. And the particular website they did it all is actually down now.
Sentenced her to fines that weren't paid and probation, but she fled from there and she went to New York, where she was in a vehicle with a 19-year-old kid in the winter. And she went and she blew a stop sign and almost got her and this 19-year-old killed by a 18-wheeler that was had the right of way, and apparently there was also drugs in the car from what the news reported said. They got a lawyer, Mike got her a lawyer and whatever, and I think she thought the lawyer was just going to get her off on, some fine, whatever, but that wasn't looking that way for her. And before court, she fled New York, and that's when she come up with the story about, Mike trying to kill her and all this other stuff. But she fled before court, and there was then warrants that were taken out for her there. So this has been an ongoing thing since, 2017, really. It's not, yeah. Well, I'm hoping that one of them will, it is what it is. For it, or there's a consequence for it. Right then, it's wrong, right? So anytime you do the same thing after that, that's a habit. Mistake. You're absolutely right. That is a conscious choice that you're making to repeat that. Yes, I have contacted Spencer, Deb. I have not told Alex. Well, not necessarily everyone. I've never gone to jail anyway, so knock on wood. Knock on wood. Of course, if I ever go to jail, I imagine it's going to be for a violent crime, to be honest with you. So I'm just saying. That's probably what I will be in jail for. Yeah, I didn't want to send him an email or send him a message over Facebook. It sounded the way that Dana was talking that her and Alex were emailing again. So, maybe working on their relationship. So I didn't want to send a note. If Alex is on the game, well, he might already know, I don't know. Same with me, Anna. If I'm going to jail, I'm going to be going for a long time. Absolutely. My daughter used to tell me all the time, go ahead, hit me. I'll call the cops on you. Okay, cool. We live way out here in the country there, sweet cheeks. It's going to take them a good 30 minutes to get here, and I'm going to beat your ass every minute of that 30 minutes. If I'm going to jail, you're going to go to the hospital. That's how that shit works. Absolutely. sad. It's sad, but not sad. I mean, I hate because right now she's going to be losing a lot. You know, the car that she bought, right? I mean, that's going to be a problem. Hang on a sec, guys. Okay, sorry about that. Hey, Lycan Fairy. I told my neighbor when we friend called cops, they give me 1 to 10 minutes to beat on you till they get exactly. Nicole, Dana is in jail. There is a hold on her. Apparently, federal marshals are coming to pick her up. So, yeah. Well, honestly, it's probably a good thing because she needs some help. And she needs to take care of all of these, you know, all the shit she hasn't taken care of in these states that she keeps running from. Get it all taken care of so that when she gets out and is able to start living her life again, it's a clean slate. And that's always a good thing. I mean, I hate that it's from a jail cell, but better that than from the grave. You know, drinking and driving is not a good thing to do. But unfortunately, you know, when you have a problem with alcohol and she can say, oh, I'm not an alcohol, I'm just a drunk, that's the same damn thing. I hate to tell her. It's the same damn thing. I think it will be, Nicole. I do think it's, I mean, if nothing else, like I said, it will at least allow her to dry out, you know, get off the alcohol for a while and take care of the stuff that she needs to take care of. That's all. I mean, hopefully it's not going to be a big deal, you know? Yeah, I imagine it would pull in some numbers, but it would also pull in some charges too, Will. Absolutely. I hope she does as well. You can make it. Yep, that's exactly right, Coach. You can make it back from jail, but there ain't no coming back from the grave. And I will bet that after it's all said and done, she's going to be glad. She's going to be glad that at least it gave her the chance to get sober and get the help that she needs. That's what I'm hoping happens. There you go, Will. Yeah, there you go. Fisher Michigan, I don't know. Will said earlier that she had some money saved up, so I mean, if she did, that's awesome. You know, that's absolutely awesome, but I don't know. I can't say I'm not going to, be a little worried because I mean, for somebody with Dana's personality and the issues mentally that she faces, I think that jail is going to be a pretty big shock to her system. There is more to life than numbers and likes, absolutely. You can, I mean, I wouldn't suggest it, but you can. And I don't think, I mean, I wouldn't do it right now, only because, actually, you might get in trouble for that, Coach. I think that you might get in trouble for doing that, to be honest with you. I don't think you can do that. I don't know how long she's going to be in Arizona. I'm going to try trying to get information where I can and kind of go from there, I guess. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, well, I think food and maybe some water would be a good thing for her to drink now. I can see it all now. She will be live streaming like that, go on a screaming rant, and then lose all privileges. Yeah, it's, I mean, the sad part is it was just, you know, getting picked up for, oh God, Alex just messaged me now. Oh, this is not how I wanted him to know. Okay, hold on, let me deal with this, please. Oh, God. I really, this is not, I didn't. I didn't want him to know he's watching the stream, so wasn't much I could do about it. Okay, Deb did reach out to him. That's good. I'm glad for that. Thank you, Deb.
A high altitude
Alex, I did not
Chinese
want you to
spy
find out
balloon
like
the
this.
size
I honestly didn't
of
think you
3
watched
school
you know,
buses
so I didn't.
has penetrated U.S. airspace and is
She was at the Grand Canyon drinking, apparently, and rangers picked her up and ran her, and she has a hold. Oh, okay. She has a hold for the federal marshals. Okay. Deb, I wish you would have waited until after the stream. I know that you do, honey, but this is not the way I wanted you to find out. So I wish you would have waited until after the stream. But it's okay. And it's not.
Wow. So that's what she can do then. Let me just search if I can find here the last dive of a woman called Diana. Don't know if there is, which might have deleted it. 4 months ago.
So a bunch of trolls at a site dedicated to targeting the mentally ill and the autistic and the disabled, run by a pedophile, a suspected pedophile. They're mad at me. They're mad at me. They're judging me. Isn't that funny? People who target children and the disabled are judging me. Oh, they're pissed. Well, what they didn't consider was that while all of my behavior, as crazy as it was, all those videos I did, can be explained. I mean, I've done it. I've explained why I did what I did. And there's witnesses to it. There is no explanation, no justification for anything that any member of Kiwi Farms does.
There you go.
They're despicable. They deserve every
And that's
terrible
where
thing
Tammy is
you
from,
can
that
imagine happened to
website.
them.
In
They're all
gaslighting this
cursed.
woman.
And they're pissed at me. Isn't that hilarious? Oh, they don't like me very much. And they shouldn't. Because I'm the worst nightmare. Because I'm not afraid of them. And I'm not a helpless victim. And I'm fucking with people that they are afraid of. So they're afraid of me because they're afraid of the people I know. They're afraid of what I know. To mock people. They think it's funny to hold people up for ridicule. That's what they do. And, you know, I'm perfectly willing because, again, I'm not a helpless victim and I can take a hit. And, you know, it's not going to ultimately hurt me to have my reputation restored. So let's say, well, that's what you are at Kiwi Farms. Well, you know, good luck. Good luck finding anyone to support you. You do what you do. Scripture tells us that demons believed and trembled. And when during Jesus' ministry, while the regular people refused to believe in him, the demons around him would walk into a room and they were demons. The demons would cry out, call him the Son of God. Demons believed first, guys. Demons. And they trembled. So I just want to throw that out there because I am a target at a site run by what I can only call demons. There is nothing, there is no way that Kiwi Farms is not purely demonic. Look at their content.
Exactly.
It's disturbing. Kiwi Farms is one of the more disturbing sites outside the dark web. And they've made me a target. Interesting. See, the fact that I'm a target of these people, well, they're trembling right now. I've made them tremble on more than one occasion. I've said, listen, Austin has apologized to me. The fact is that because of his actions, I'm still dealing with the fallout. So a simple apology isn't going to cut it, Austin. Is that you can just say you're sorry and then walk away from this like it never happened when I'm still dealing with fallout. And your name and your face is all over this and will continue to be all over it till that.
So we have people that taking the pee out of her. This is what alcohol looks like. So somebody is just posting up exploring Kiwi Farms. Then you got other people, nobody but Diana. It's just ridiculous. Diana Marie Kane's response to my video. This is demonic what people do to people.
Automatically with trading 212. Start with just £1.
To constantly gaslight people.
What's up, everybody? I wanted to open this video up by saying I apologize. My summer has been really, really lit. I've been having a lot of fun, and I honestly just haven't had the time to be putting into this like I. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't yet, spark up. I'm feeling good. This here is the first comment that Dana left me. So we're gonna break it down. Narcissist is I made it doomed to wander the earth, always thirsting and never quenched, always hungry but never satisfied. Just trying to be like artsy narrating there. I like it. I'm sure that if you were able to examine yourself and your motives, you'd understand just what you truly are and seek forgiveness. But the truth is, narcissists never improve.
I'm gonna say some stuff. I'm gonna say some stuff. Not everybody on high level. Yes, I am. Oh, no, you're a dumb bitch. Hamilton. Watch and see what happens to you. Hamilton is gonna end up on the streets. Hamilton is gonna be sucking dick for food and water. Hamilton is gonna, he's a chubby, now Hamilton burger. Oh, let's do it. I'm change you. And you're part of like my things, and she's gonna fuck you up. Oh no, Anna, stop talking. I'm trying to help you feel. Stop talking. I suggest you, Anna. I suggest.
These are people from that website.
Because if you.
This goes back to 2020.
And thank you. Fine. But don't play like you're a fucking victim, bitch. We all know you're not. It does, you're only doing this because he's got money, honey. We all know. He owns a trucking company. He's got money. And you're enjoying the perks. Destiny is written in the stars.
Chad says it right here. Obviously, she won't give a name because she's afraid of magic, backlash, and spells.
I mean, why
I
would you
don't
be
believe
afraid?
that.
Blah. I don't need a man's permission to take a shit. I don't let a man hit me. I don't let a man hit me. I don't let men hit me. I don't let men hit me. Go ahead.
JT, what you got to say, JT?
I don't let men hit me.
JT,
I don't let men be a millionaire because you're a
Millionaire? You're not a millionaire because you don't want to be. That's what I'm saying.
perception is reality.
That's true. That's
Bestiality porn. Okay. Yes. Real world.
Sad, isn't it?
Bestiality.
Well, I'm
Where
going
the precepts, so shall I talk of thy wondrous works.
So just get in the stream or start it off with. Because that's a shame what goes on when they take the pee out of people. The times we're living in. Serious demonic times.
So today, I'm looking at the news that Conjure Queen, Iowa, ran a live stream, and she had as her guest Tammy Hess, Jerome, and JT. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but Iowa is a voodoo queen, and she does spell work for money. Yeah, she curses people for money. She's the worst kind of witch. She is the absolute worst kind of witch, the kind the Bible talks about. And
have attained control of the surface through a mastery of genetics, through control of the human gene pool, modifying the human race in general, in particular bloodlines in particular, to the point where they develop attributes, behaviors, and capabilities which advance the reptilian gender race in general. The reptilians come in a number of different shapes and sizes. Some are rather small, 4 to 4.5 to 5 feet tall. More common in there, 6 feet tall and taller. Some 5, 7, 7.5 feet tall. They could be a number of colors like dark green. It could be brownish. What's been described as PC green. There's a particular type of reptilian species we refer to as the yellow bellies. There are many reptile type species on the surface, like crocodiles and alligators, that have a tannish or a whitish underside. There are literally reptilians that have a whitish or a tannish underside. We call them yellow bellies. And these reptilians over time have developed the ability to, like I said, they can alter their density. Now, how do they interact with humans? Well, let's start with how reptilians interact with females, human females. Now, most of these human females that have encounters with reptilians are, in all likelihood, reptilian hybrids to a degree themselves. I refer to them as reptilian familiars, familiar in the family sense, generations. These reptilians will follow certain bloodlines, generation after generation. And when a woman is having encounters with reptilians, it's because she's been genetically modified to the point where she is suitable for a reptilian access, mating, or what have you. Now, how does a reptilian rape a human woman? Let's say a woman is sleeping at night. What the reptilian can do is it can appear, and sometimes she may not be able to see this.
This is what they do in night.
They can be invisible in the visible spectrum, but you can see the depression of weight that the reptilian is leaving. For example, you can see a depression of weight on a mattress, on a sofa, on the carpet, but you cannot see the reptilian itself. It may choose not to allow you to see it. And what the woman may feel is a sudden pressure on her chest, or if she's on her stomach, a sudden pressure on her back. And what will happen is oftentimes a reptilian will sexually assault the human woman. And let's say the woman is lying on her back and the reptilian assaults her but is invisible. She will not be able to see what is going on, although she will feel the thrusting action of the reptilian's member. Let's say, for example, that she can move her arms or she can move her hands. She may try to block or prevent the organ of the reptilian from entering her. She will not feel anything, but she'll try. Paradoxically, she will still feel the insertion of the reptilian's member into one or the other orifices. So it's somewhat of a paradox. It's like, well, she can't block it with her hand, but she still feels it, thrusting inside of her. I should have added in my preface that this kind of adult content, so, but I really do believe that there are members of the audience that are somewhat young and whose parents or mother is having these experiences, I mean, now it's a good time as any to learn. So you have something of a paradox where the reptilian can penetrate layers of bedclothes, of bed sheets, linen, bedclothes, and densify particular parts of its anatomy, like its number or its claws, for example, and still remain invisible. Now, what the reptilian can also do is it can assume the guise of someone that the woman is attracted to or has been involved with in the past. A reptilian can appear as an ex-boyfriend or someone the gal just got a crush with, someone that she runs into the laundromat, at the apartment complex. The reptilian can appear as that particular person. Or conversely, if the reptilian wants to engender as much fear and terror from the abductee, it can allow itself, it can reveal itself in its full reptilian glory, if you will. And if you haven't seen a sketch of a reptilian, if you haven't seen a reptilian in person, snout, big eyes, sometimes yellowish, sometimes reddish, vertical slit pupils, sometimes big flaring nostrils, rows of sharp teeth, extremely robust claws. And what the reptilian can also do, if it really wants to create terror within the abductee, is not only can it allow itself to be seen, but the reptilians, and also, as I will describe later, reptilian human hybrids, for all intents and purposes, humans that have reptilian capabilities. Reptilians and human reptilian hybrids, some of them have the ability to somehow trigger within the mind or the brain of the abductee specific memories of previous child abuse, previous sexual abuse. So the reptilian can trigger that part of the mind of the abductee, and she will begin to remember a sexual assault when she was a child or a time when she was raped. And not only that, though, but what a number of researchers into satanic ritual abuse and mind control have discovered is that energy is locked into the bodies of ritual abuse and mind control victims. It's locked into the bodies, and it's blocked, and it's incapable of getting out. What the reptilians can do is cause not only the memories of the childhood sexual assault to flood into the mind of the person and force them to relive that sexual assault in real time, but the attendant body memories also can be made to surface. So it causes the abductee, the woman, to freeze up, become petrified and terrified, and all the while the reptilian feeds off of this. Now, one of the byproducts of a reptilian sexual assault, well, there are a number of them where the woman is concerned. One of them is extremely high libido. And the reason for this is because the reptilian has the ability to activate what's known as the kundalini, the chi, the sexual energy of the woman, and cause her to have what's been described to me as extremely powerful full body orgasms, from the tips of the toes all the way to the head, just leaving them breathless. And this could last literally for hours. Now, there are some consequences to that. And I'm not trying to make light of it. This is just a facet of it that is very real, where the woman can feel intense shame about what has been going on, because nobody wants to admit, even to themselves, that they're having sexual assaults from a reptilian creature. But at the same time, the force and the power of the orgasms are such that after a while she begins to wonder when the entity will come back. She begins to long for that feeling again. And this creates a cycle of guilt and shame. Another byproduct of sexual assault is the female abductee, for a short period of time after the sexual assault, will be extremely psychic. In fact, I know of a case, a female, a close friend of mine, who's had a number of reptilian experiences and a number of military experiences. The reptilian came into her house, sexually assaulted her, and no sooner did the reptilian leave that the military, through some means which we haven't quite figured out, they have the means to pull in the myelin that they're working with from their house straight to their realm through some kind of teleportation device, some kind of portal. We don't really know the mechanics behind it, but they just have a
protest yesterday in London against low traffic neighbours. I come up through South London every day. I go through part of Dulwich. I see the house with signs, no traffic neighbour.
Into the underground base, and immediately set to work on a remote the Persian Gulf. So that tells me one of two things. One, The military, knowing that this woman is a reptilian hybrid, it's had a lifetime experience with reptilians. Modern household, they have sensors that are sensitive enough to indicate when a reptilian manifests. And there is an energetic spike when a reptilian manifests, because they don't need spaceships to travel the room. They can open up a portal in your walk right through it. Very often, you hear stories of closets. It's a very common point of entry for reptilians and other beings. They create a portal into the closet. You know, children's boogeyman stories are frequently talked about boogeyman monsters in closets. Because that was discussed by
let's just have a little
serial
look.
killer complained about scaly creatures in his closet when he was a child.
Are you okay?
So what does that tell me? It tells me that the military was either monitoring the woman, knew a reptilian had come, had sexually assaulted her, and decided to or it's possible that the reptilian and the military were working in cahoots, and the reptilian came in first, did its thing, and then the military took her and utilized her in this operation. We know these things have happened because more than one person has described this experience.
As of today.
Oh, serious?
Some of the things that reptilians do to women is they can literally take over the body of a woman while the woman is having sex with a partner. And then what the woman describes is something similar to astral body, out-of-body experiences, where her consciousness will leave her physical body, and this reptilian will then come in and then engage in intercourse with her partner. And oftentimes, the entity taking over the woman's body can get into all kinds of real sordid kink. It can get into all kinds of perverted activities, and the woman is just out of her body watching this, saying, "That's not me. I wouldn't do that." All kinds of perverted activities, and the woman is so that's also been reported, saying that they can take over the consciousness, the body of a person while they're having intercourse. Later on, I'll explain some of the mechanics and dynamics as far as the hybrids goes in the process. For now, keep in mind that there are some psychics who have the ability, when they look at a person, whether on TV, they can literally see a reptilian entity over the back of a person. You call that person a host, a reptilian. They're wittingly or unwittingly hosting the reptilian entity. So keep that point in mind if it's very important. One of the things that the reptilians also do to women is they, like I said before, they strive to create as much pain and anguish within the people. This could be for male abductees as well. A very common tactic that the reptilians do is they contrive to create a lower back injury. And what this does is it causes that abductee to not only feel physical anguish and physical pain, but emit that energy, emit emotions and energies of suffering, of pain, anguish, and hopelessness. What the reptilians do is they develop strongholds within us. One inevitable byproduct of a lot of these
Okay,
experiences
mine
is
didn't stream now.
the abductee will resort to self